Hello and welcome to the Do Not Disturb Football Podcast. If you notice, we have Poppy Pickett here on this show. We are having him just for a couple minutes here. Why don't we get right into it? Nimmer, how's your day going?
It's going pretty well. It's going pretty well. We finally booked our Airbnb for the 2025 fantasy football. It's going to be a 5 bedroom, 8 beds, 5 baths. It's going to be, it looks like a beautiful house. So I'm excited.
It looks pretty isolated.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that
like
too.
the only house. It's like
That's
just
pretty
a
cool.
random corner.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I'm excited. I'm excited to like wake up in the morning. Like last year was so cool. Like drinking a cup of coffee overlooking like the lake and whatnot. So I'm just
Mm.
excited to just drink a cup of coffee, go sit out on the porch and stuff like that. So I'm super
This year
excited.
it'll just be a cup of bourbon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
put it in the coffee.
I have Irish whiskey. Irish coffee.
But Darren, how are you doing? How is the baby?
Man, everything is good. We are thriving and but also surviving. She has been a wonderful, wonderful little being so far. Honestly, just from the get go, you seeing the baby for the first time, it melts you. You can get a little teary eyed. You hold it back because you're surrounded by a whole room full of women, and they're all like moving around, bustling, and making sure baby's okay. And you're like, all right, I gotta be a man and like be there for your wife. But it's like the most amazing, beautifully terrifying, and terrifyingly beautiful moment when the baby came into this world. So I've been happy ever since, and she's been honestly such a hoot. So we're still figuring out like the sleep schedule, feed schedule, all of that. But she's adapting. We're learning. She's learning. But it's honestly every day is better than the next. So
Man.
love
Don't
it.
don't forget Darian real men cry. So.
Yeah, it's true.
Thinking about Hook today because I saw they may have flash floods in his area where he lives.
He just called me like right when we were like jumping on the air. So I don't know. He might be okay, or he might be being whisked away by a flood. So
I hope he's okay.
maybe
That, that area has not had a good past couple of months.
nah. Should have him move back to Arizona.
That's what I told him. I told him that the last time I was on the phone with him. I was like, you should probably just move back to Arizona at this rate. But and he was somewhat interested. I was like, go to Tucson. I'll meet you there in a couple of years.
Not
Maybe.
Fuck
Tucson.
Tucson.
It's like the armpit of
He's,
Arizona. What the hell?
he goes to all the U of A basketball games and he's a fan.
I mean, that's true. It came up in conversation with us too. We were like, "Damn, what would it be like if we just like moved back?"
Yeah, that's kind of like I feel like we all kind of have that
Mm-hmm.
thought. We just move to a house by GCU and then show up
Coach
at a
them.
random show up at a random practice someday.
Teach them how to play fucking defense. God damn, bro, they're getting torched.
I haven't been keeping up. Are they what's going on with them? How are they?
Bro, they can't. I mean, they just can't play defense. They gave up what 34 to Western Washington,
Hmm.
and then like 60 some odd to St.
Oh,
Mary's. I mean, which is
Hook's
like
calling me 1 second. Hook, you're
which
live right
is
now. Hook, you're live. How are the flash floods?
Flash floods are terrible. They closed the PCH again.
Oh my
oh
god. Are
shit.
you drifting away or are you still door dashing?
I still door dashing even in the flood. You gotta risk it for the business.
Holy
Absolutely.
cow!
They said, holy cow, absolutely.
In your Corolla?
Like,
In your Corolla? That's what Drew asked.
oh, it's a tank.
It's a tank.
It just barrels through the water.
Fine.
That is hilarious.
All right, guys, enjoy the live show. I hope it's a great one.
Appreciate
Shout
it.
out D&D.
Thanks. Just
Love
try to
it.
stay dry, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
So he's
I
doing
saw
okay.
that on I saw that on the Today Show. They were saying life-threatening floods in some areas of that LA area.
Jesus.
At least you know all the fires out.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably why the water is so fierce. But
Yeah, that makes sense.
but let's get right into Rage Cage. This is our last show for a while, so we will bring Rage Cage right out to start the show today. We have been doing this all year, something that makes us, something that kind of irks us, something that makes us a little angry. We like to sweat out all our tears and put it all out on the floor for everyone to see. Pretty good day, I would say, because that three-peat did not happen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nimmer, why don't you start with today's Rage Cage?
All right, so I have a couple things to be raging about. I kind of talked about the halftime show. I bet y'all wish freaking Wayne did it too. I boycotted it, so I didn't see it, but pretty much the internet has explained that the show was not as entertaining as it could have been. So I would love to hear your guys' opinion. Yeah, so Wayne would have done a way better job than Kendrick, so that's kind of makes me feel a little bit better. But just talking about like Super Bowl parties, right? When you have a Super Bowl party and you know people are actually interested in the game, there needs to be, and we hosted a Super Bowl party and we should have done this, and it's my fault for not saying this. There needs to be a room of people that aren't really interested in the game. They can start talking. They can talk during commercials. They, just, oh, like, how are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And then there's another room that's people that actually want to watch the commercials, hear what the commentators have to say, actually watch the game. Because people just keep talking during the game, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm trying to watch the game. I'm trying to listen to what the commentary says. I can't even hear what the ref's saying. Like, we're here for a football game. We're not here just to hang out. If you want to hang out, come back tomorrow. Not today. This is the most important game of the year, and luckily it was a boring game. But, like, if this was an interesting game, I would have been like, all right, I started turning up the volume, but then when I turned up the volume, people just started yelling at each other, trying to talk. It was like at a club. And I was like, bro, like, I can't. Like, I didn't see one commercial. And then it was cool, and I was like, oh, cool, that's Matthew McConaughey. I wish I knew what the fuck he was saying, but I didn't know what the fuck he was saying. I saw him at like 2 or 3 commercials, and I love Matthew McConaughey. So if you have a Super Bowl party, dedicate one room for people that aren't really interested in the Super Bowl or want to talk or chit-chat and whatnot. Then dedicate one who actually wants to watch the game, who actually is in tune to the game and actually likes the game.
Yeah. Lot to unpack there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot.
But Darren, why don't I go to you? What is your Rage Cage?
Oh man, it's been a while. I might have to take a moment to get myself into character. Man, I don't know what it is, but something irked me. And it set me off right before this game. It was these damn comments on our post where I predicted the Super Bowl going to be Chiefs versus Eagles, and I had the Eagles winning. Now, all these...
Shall I read them out?
Yeah, honestly, go for it.
So you had someone... So to give everyone some context, Darian at the beginning of the year predicted Eagles versus the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. He said there's no three-peat here. Eagles are going to beat them this time around. And he also said in that video that the Chiefs had the 10th easiest schedule coming into the season. And that was like his main point. Someone said, screw Eagles, Chiefs three-peat. He's talking nonsense. Then you had someone put like 8 laughing faces and a clown emoji. he had someone bring out ChatGPT, said, ask ChatGPT how many times all-time franchises win and losses the Eagles have. So how many franchise wins and losses they have. 666 wins, 665 losses. I expect they will be securing another loss, 3 for the Chiefs. Someone said, thanks, armchair sports announcer, go Chiefs. Someone said, sorry, Eagles lost. Someone said, Chiefs didn't have the 10th easiest schedule. You're full of horseshit. Super Bowl winners have the toughest schedule. So we made it, boys.
Damn.
That's all I got to say. We
made it. Now, I'm happy that you ended on that one right there, because that's the one I've been stewing on. What's his name? Savisco 7. Now this man right here, he pissed me the fuck off, and saying, he basically calling out the fact that I said they had the 10th easiest schedule. This man don't know a lick of ball at all.
No.
It's and I fact checked myself. The Chiefs had the 10th easiest schedule in the NFL this year, and they came out at 15-2. They didn't play nobody. Now, saying I'm full of horseshit, that's what made me mad. I know I went into that episode. I had my numbers right. I knew what the fuck I was talking about. Savisco 7. Now, I think here the true thing is that you don't know ball. And I can guarantee it that the lot lizards that you're hanging out with knows more ball than you. And it's their goddamn occupation. So shit, I'd expect them to. Now stay in your motherfucking lane, Savisco 7. And don't come for me next time. Fuck out of here. Now, hit me with the clown emoji. Look who's talking. Look who's talking. Come on now. We even commented back at y'all. Where you been? I even liked it. Come on. Wear your comments with pride. I do. I wear that shit on my chest. I call out myself when I have a bad take. But let's revisit this, boys. Shit, I don't even know. Some of these bitches might be bitches. But I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna wear this one with pride, because I liked it a lot. He actually brought some humor to it. I am a sports chair announcer, or fucking armchair sports announcer.
Armchair sports announcer.
Yeah, motherfucker. That is exactly this creaky ass motherfucking chair. Hell yeah. But I got it right, motherfucker. Chiefs 3-peat. No. Eagles womp that ass. Where you at? I'm tired of this. If you gonna talk shit, come back when it's wrong. Golly. Savisco 7, you a piece of shit. Don't ever horse shit. I'm never full of horse shit. Only on Kyle Pitts takes, Drake London takes, and Kirk Cousins takes am I full of shit. So that's where you should have came for me. But other than that, I called the Super Bowl fucking 21 weeks ago, and I nailed that bitch on the head. Go Eagles, fly. That's the only time I'll ever say it. Commanders are taking that shit next year and the year after that. And we stomping on everybody after that. But Savisco 7, I am not full of horseshit. But that's
I just find it funny that all these guys, let's count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them were so confident that the Chiefs were going to win. And I think a lot of people were. I was. A lot of people, I think, were picking the Chiefs to win. I woke up and checked the line the day of the Super Bowl, and the Eagles were actually favored by 1 point. So something changed overnight, and the Eagles became the favorite in the money line bets. So interesting how that worked out. But it's just funny how these guys were so confident about the Chiefs winning, and then we call them out. We at every single one of them. And we say, you were saying, not a single one responded. That was your time. That was your time to shine.
Come on, let's fuel it. Say what you need to say. Fucking coward back in their dark hole.
And for the guy that said armchair sports announcer, brother, you have a lion as your profile picture. That's all I got to say. So I'd rather be an armchair sports announcer than an armchair commenter. Okay.
That's true.
Let's get it right. We're not announcers. I'm not. We're
Oh.
not watching no games. We're a sports podcaster. Get it right, bro.
Oh man.
Man.
And we must be pretty good because someone on this show said before the year started what the matchup was going to be and who was going to win the Super Bowl way before anybody saw it coming.
Come on now. Give me
So
my roses.
all credit goes to you,
That
Darian.
is
What a
wild.
pick. That was an insane pick. I remember you making that pick and thinking maybe that's a possibility. And then as the season went on, Eagles were starting to look really, really good, and doggone it, they took it all. So congratulations to you. I think that'll be it from you. Am I right?
Yeah, I gotta go take care of this baby. We have it's bath day, so
Definitely.
catch y'all. Love y'all. Thank
Love
you
you
so
too,
much
Darren.
for having me for a quick
Oh.
moment. And again, Savisco 7, you are a piece of fucking shit. Hey, but
Thanks for
tune in
stopping
next
by.
year though. But tune in next year, Savisco. I'm coming for your ass again. But love y'all.
Thanks for stopping by, Darian.
Yeah,
Man, so for my Rage Cage, I feel like me and Darian kind of tag teamed on that one. So I'll just leave it at that. Maybe the other one that I have is for DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, that was bad.
His comments after the game saying
I know.
there was a lot of touchy calls. Why aren't you guys talking about that? It's like, well, DeAndre, you guys got blown out.
Yeah.
So it's not like there was a close call to like discuss because the game was 40-6 at one point. And yeah, that I thought was such a baby answer by him.
Yeah, like Kenny Pickett was in the game.
Exactly.
You expect the refs to whatever.
That's so embarrassing. They put Kenny Pickett in the game.
Yeah, it's even more embarrassing that Kenny Pickett and Mike Tomlin have the same amount of Super Bowl rings.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
That's tough.
super tough.
But that halftime show, watching it right afterwards, I was like, it's kind of boring.
Mhm.
But with anything that Kendrick does, you kind of have to let it resonate. That's always kind of how he's been. Like when he first came out with this last GNX album, the Black and White album, it was an album at first that I was like, I don't really know like if there's a ton of bangers on here. And then I let it kind of sit, revisited it, and started to like more and more songs. You have to kind of let it simmer with Kendrick. There was a lot of symbolism that went over people's heads.
Mm-hmm.
And I like there is so much symbolism that he did.
Yeah, but most of the symbolism was referring to Drake,
which is great.
I mean, it's over with though. Like,
no, it's not. This is how I would be. I would be exactly like Kendrick.
How is it not though? Like, it's over with. You got, not like us. You got 6 Grammys from it. What more do you want? Like, you want to... It's like beating a dead horse. You already killed the horse. Why are you beating it?
This was the cherry on top. This was...
I feel like the 6 Grammys was the cherry on top.
Yeah, but you're asked to perform in the Super Bowl, so you gotta do the song of the year.
No, I'm not saying that, not the song, but I'm saying the symbolism and, everything about, like, Drake and, fuck Drake and all, like... Because that made it seem like that's why he got picked for the Super Bowl. Just to kind of rub it in Drake's face. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's... But,
I think that's exactly what he wanted to do.
yeah.
Most of that GNX album is a lot about Drake. Like, a lot of the stuff is towards Drake. but there's a whole bunch of things there. The stage, if you saw it, there was like the symbols of a PlayStation controller: X, square, circle, triangle. The company, the label that Drake is owned by Sony. Sony owns PlayStation. At the end, they said "game over" in the crowd, so there was some symbolism there. He did a part in the performance where there's a song on the GNX album called Peekaboo. A lot of people have speculated this is about Drake's story with XXX Extension, because X got murdered, and people are starting to people have speculated that Drake was involved in that murder, and he was doing that Peekaboo song in the X.
Interesting.
So there was something there. Serena Williams, he had Drake's X there doing the Crip Walk. He had the A minor thing on his, or the A on his chain, which I don't really know what that means. I've heard some people say it's different things, but to me, that's kind of what it looked like.
I like the dividing flag. I seen, like, I didn't watch the actual halftime show, but like the TikToks, it showed like the flag and him sitting in the middle and divided America because America's divided or whatever.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a rumor that, like, if you remember in the beef, Drake came back with whatever that song was, Family Matters, I think. And Kendrick drops Meet the Grams like immediately after he puts that song out. And in that album cover, or the picture to the song, when you look it up, there's a picture of these gloves and like all these different things. There's a rumor that he was wearing those gloves during that performance. So
Interesting.
A lot of weird, like, it makes you, like, with Kendrick, you're like, man, this dude is a maniac. Like, he is deep with his thinking. I do think I would have liked a Lil Wayne performance more. It would have been more lit. It would have been more, hype.
Yeah.
So that's where I think people didn't like Kendrick's performance. But I think about it like, what's the last halftime show that we were like, man, what an amazing halftime show?
I personally liked Shakira and J-Lo.
That was
me personally.
I like that one, yeah.
I think that was the last time, because then it was Rihanna, which it was J-Lo and Shakira. Then it was Lady Gaga right after that, right?
Yeah.
And then
you had the
Rihanna
Weeknd in there.
And then Kendrick.
Yeah, you had the Weeknd in there too.
Oh yeah.
But most people, besides that Shakira one, I would say most people kind of drag every single halftime show.
Yeah.
Like even Rihanna showed that she was pregnant in that performance, and people still came after her, and I was like, I mean, what do you want? Like,
yeah.
But I don't know. Let's talk more about the game. Super Bowl 59 final score was 40-22. The Chiefs came out and were stopped on the first couple drives that turned into sacks and interceptions and just a old school beatdown by the Philadelphia Eagles. This is the Eagles' second Super Bowl in 4 years. They lost the last one to the Chiefs. They got their revenge this time. What was your thoughts on the game, Nim?
My thoughts, it was funny because when I was watching it and the Eagles were dominating, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was just waiting for Mahomes to come back. Waiting. It's like, this is going to be just like Brady and the Falcons. It's going to be just like Brady and the Falcons. And I'm waiting. And then the third quarter happens. It's like, all right, they had a halftime. This is when Mahomes, halftime adjustments. It's when Andy Reid, this is where it becomes like the greatest coach of all time, blah, 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 blah. Then the third quarter happens, and then the Eagles are just beat down. And then, like, all right, this is when the Mahomes is gonna, all right, fourth quarter comeback. This is gonna be like the greatest comeback in NFL history, blah blah blah, blah. And just never happened. And then I was watching a clip on Travis Kelce's New Heights, and he was like, "We just couldn't get any type of momentum," and it's true. And the crazy thing is that they got so much. They showed the recipe on how to beat Mahomes, and that's rush four and get pressure. The front four is going to be the biggest key factor in beating Mahomes. And that's what happened. Like, most of the pressures, there was no blitz, which is insane. I caught on to that until after, like, third quarter or something. I was like, this is insane that they're putting so much pressure on Mahomes with only 4 people rushing. So it's like, I don't know. And I wasn't really paying attention because, like I said, it was a Super Bowl party. People kept talking to me and all that type of stuff. So I don't know if they even had, like, Noah Gray stay and help block. Pacheco help block. Like, I don't know what happened, but the defensive line is crucial. It was crucial in that game. So, and Jalen Hurts played outstanding too. I'm not taking any credit away from them. I mean, going into the game, we're like, the Chiefs are going to stop Saquon, so it's really going to be on Jalen Hurts' back. And sure enough, the Chiefs stopped Saquon, and Jalen Hurts stepped up to the challenge. So it was a very, I don't want to say it was a good game, but it was a very eye-opening game, and it was a shocking game because I didn't think that it was going to be like that.
It's crazy how fast the narrative shifts from before the Super Bowl happens to after the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Because going into this game, we were all saying Mahomes is probably the second greatest quarterback all time. Some people were saying he's the best quarterback of all time. Everyone was giving Mahomes this praise like he's an all-time great playing right now, and there's nothing that can stop him. The first ever three-peat, we were already kind of crowning the Chiefs for winning the third straight Super Bowl. And Philly comes out there, sacks Mahomes 6 times, have constant pressure on Mahomes. And when you throw a pick 6 to Cooper DeJean, and then you come back the very next drive and you throw a pick to Zach Bond, like, that is not going to be a very good ending to your game. And really, this game should have ended 40-6. Mm-hmm. They were just kind of scoring in garbage time. And now you see what the narrative is. You see people saying, well, maybe the Chiefs dynasty is officially over. Maybe their window's closed. Maybe Mahomes really isn't as good as we thought. And it's crazy. It's just crazy, like such a seesaw of how people see things from one game to the next. And if, the Super Bowl kind of gives you more weight on the game, so it's going to really make some people overreact. But to me, I think, I was wrong. I thought Chiefs were going to win this. I picked the Chiefs all year. But to me, there was some concern all year about their offensive line, and specifically their 2 tackles, their left tackle and their right tackle. They had some injury on the left tackle side. You had Juwan Taylor on the right side. He's been terrible all year. He's been bad for the past 2 years. When they brought Juwan Taylor back and they were rolling with pretty much the same line they had last year, I thought there was going to be some concerns in the season, how they were going to move things around. And really, it didn't show up until the Super Bowl. And when you go up against a defense like Philly, where Vic Fangio, he's never historically been a blitzing guy. He doesn't blitz a lot. He depends on that front four, like you said, and he runs good coverage schemes behind it. And that's what he did. That front four for Philadelphia with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, Sweat. And there's the guy on the other side. He was making plays. Jax something. I can't remember his name. But he was making good plays all game, and they just dominated. I mean, from head to toe, they are a better roster than Kansas City,
Yeah, 100%.
and that showed up. And really, the way that they came into this game, it was like they peaked at the right time. They had just hung 50 some points on Washington, and then they come in this game and they put 40 points up on the Chiefs, the two-time Super Bowl champs. Like they peaked at the right time. This was a great way to, or great time to actually ignite and be like that full team that everyone has kind of thought the Eagles could be.
Yeah, it was cool to see all the pieces fit together. You know, like you said, it was nice to see the Eagles actually like live up to what the roster is. Um, because like I mean, even being close with the Rams, we're like, there's no way this team is gonna go to this playoffs. Yeah, I mean, go to the Super Bowl if they barely beat the Rams, and the Rams honestly should have won. They kind of just fumbled the game on the last drive, but it's like, all right, well, you know, it's Matt Stafford, but wait till they play the Chiefs or wait till they play Jaden Daniel. You know what I mean? Like, but what's crazy about this whole entire thing, now that we can look back, is that Eagle fans were calling for Nick Sirianni's head in the beginning, throughout the whole entire season. Like, they lost 2 games, right? The record is 15-2 or something like that.
I don't know what their final record was, but I know they started 2-2.
They started 2-2, and then they're like, "Oh, we don't want Sirianni," and then all of a sudden they just kept winning and winning and winning and winning. They're like, "We still don't want Sirianni. We still don't want Sirianni. We still don't want Sirianni." And then all of a sudden, the playoffs come, and they're like, "All right, let's see what he does in the playoffs." And then he ends up winning the Super Bowl. And they're like, "We love Sirianni. We love Sirianni." And I was like, "What the heck?" Like, the fact that you guys, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like you said, it's crazy how the storyline can change and the narrative can change and what people want can change, whether it be a win or a loss.
I mean, the way people were talking about these teams is a complete 180 from Friday to Monday.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it's crazy how that works. But
Both teams, it was insane.
what do you think about Jalen Hurts? Does he deserve more credit for this victory? And should we kind of respect Jalen as one of the top quarterbacks in the league?
I wouldn't put him in the top 5. I wouldn't put him in the top 5. We definitely should put some respect on him, but then at the same time, like, during the regular season, he hasn't really shown up. Like, yeah, he scores a lot of touchdowns, but he's not over here like Joe Burrow or, you know what I mean? Like, he's more of, I mean, I think that he's definitely the top half of the league, even maybe top 10. I'd put him probably in the top 10, but I'm not putting him in the top 5 just because he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. I would say he, like you said, he's not a top 10 quarterback or a top 5 quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback in this league, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a pretty good place to be. Now, before the season, would I have said that he's a top 10 quarterback? Probably not. And I think he's proven a lot of people wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he does have like a clutch gene that I think goes underappreciated.
Mm-hmm.
He's come up in really big situations. You think about the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was such a tight game. It was the best game probably has ever had in the NFL. And then this game, like, it wasn't an outstanding game by Jalen Hurts, but he made no mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And he came up in big situations on 4th down, 3rd down, made the throws that needed to be made to win the game. And really, I mean, they were going to win the game regardless of what happened with how the defense played. But I do think we should probably give Jalen Hurts a little bit more respect in the clutch gene,
Mm-hmm.
that gene that you've seen some quarterbacks come into this league that aren't considered the top guys that have had that clutch gene. I think of Eli Manning when I think of that. I think of like Joe Flacco when I think of that. I think of Nick Foles, like some guys that like have never been like these top quarterbacks, but like when the all the pressure's on the line and like you need a play to happen from your quarterback, Jalen Hurts has that same trait that those guys have, and that won those guys Super Bowls. That won Jalen Hurts the Super Bowl. So all the credit goes to Jalen Hurts.
And I think that Jalen Hurts definitely had something to do with it. It wasn't like not Ken Dorsey, who was Baltimore's quarterback when in 2000 when they won.
Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Trent Dilfer or some of these other quarterbacks who, like, even if you can put anybody in that quarterback position and the defense was amazing and, like the surrounding talent that he had, like he actually produced and he actually did well. Like you said, didn't make mistakes, which is huge. Like that's what any coach would dream of a quarterback not making mistakes. I mean, that's what lost the Chiefs the game. The 2 picks back to back, the fumble, and like the sacks, all that type of stuff. So when he's calm, cool, and collective, he definitely. But I think that people kind of overlook Jalen Hurts actually helped get them to the Super Bowl win because of all the talent around him. But then if you put Kenny Pickett there, they're not going to be the same team at all. So I think that we definitely 100% should put more respect on him. Should we put him in the top 5? That might be pushing it. But I would put him at like 6 or 7. Maybe 8. Thinking.
Yeah, somewhere around that area.
Yeah.
But like you said, the Eagles roster. You think of this roster, I think of like in baseball, they're like the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
In basketball, they're like the Lakers, even though the Lakers aren't that great of a team, but they have like these stars everywhere. And like the Eagles, you look at their roster, their offensive line is one of the best offensive lines, if not the best offensive line in football. You have Saquon Barkley, who was really the missing piece, I guess. I mean, he didn't do much in this game, but all season they were one of the leading rushing teams, and he was a huge part of their offense. 2 stud receivers, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and that's just the offense. Then you have the whole defensive side. You have Darius Slay, Quinyon Mitchell, Jalen Carter, Sweat, like so many. Maddox is a pretty good nickel corner. Their safeties, Blankenship and Cooper DeJean came up huge in the Super Bowl. Bond played really well. It's a A+ roster, and hopefully they can bring everybody back. Good news is they're pretty young and they have a lot of these guys locked up. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, those guys are locked up for the next couple of years. Saquon Barkley's locked up for the next couple of years. Really, the only guy you're concerned about bringing back or not is Bond. Bond's probably going to get a big payday from someone. So you're probably going to have to match that if you want to bring him back. But really, that's the only guy you're like concerned with leaving.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're Bond, wouldn't you want to come back and take a small little pay cut?
Yeah, you would think. I mean, this he's like 6 years into his career and just had the best year of his career.
Yeah.
Really, that Vic Fangio defense for linebackers. I remember when he was the Broncos coach, and there was a couple linebackers that strolled through there, like Brandon Marshall. That was one of the linebackers, and he was like second in the league in tackling with the Broncos. And then he went to a different team, and we never heard of him again. Mm-hmm. And I think it's that system. It really highlights the linebackers, and the coverage behind it is always top tier. So, what about for Mahomes? How do you think this affects his legacy?
It completely is a complete opposite of what Jalen Hurts' legacy is. I don't think anybody can say that Mahomes is ever going to be the greatest of all time after this. Absolutely not. Even if he wins more Super Bowls than Brady, there's no way. I can't see it. I can't see it. Because when you get demolished from that, and it's not even like, it's one thing if it was not your fault and like you played outstanding and all this, like Mahomes played like shit. And he played like he's been playing like shit this whole season. Last time they played the Eagles in the Super Bowl, he wasn't even the best quarterback. Jalen Hurts completely outperformed him. So this completely demolishes his legacy. And it kind of sucks because, you know, even though I'm not a big Mahomes fan, but like you know, at least he's humble. He's not arrogant. He's not like, you know, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that know they're the best and will flaunt it. And he doesn't really flaunt it as much. But, yeah, this completely devastates his legacy. In the fact, I should re-emphasize, in the fact of the GOAT conversation. Like, you can never call Mahomes the GOAT ever again. Because, I mean, Brady never got demolished like this, ever. He actually came back. So... but is he still going to be a top 5 quarterback in the league? Probably.
Is he still a top 2 quarterback of all time?
Yeah. Maybe
So.
3. Maybe I'll put Joe Montana ahead of him. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because at least Montana had Rice and crazy defense and stuff like that. Mahomes... He had Tyreek, but the past couple years he hasn't had anybody. So I don't know. That's a lot closer race than Brady and Mahomes, though.
Yeah, I think some people are kind of overreacting on Mahomes. I still think he's going to be the second best quarterback of all time. I've said he's probably going to go down as that. I said that before the game. I still think that after the game. I think this isn't the Chiefs' last Super Bowl run. I think there's more coming. And a loss like this will really motivate him to get back there. But it's not going to be easy. And I think Mahomes knows that now. Like you saw what happened to Brady. Brady went to, I think, 3 Super Bowls out the gate and then lost and didn't get back for like 5 years or something like that. And then he won a bunch after that. But like, just because you come out and you win 2 Super Bowls within the first 5 years of your career, that doesn't mean you're guaranteed 7 Super Bowls. That is not what that means. Like this could be the last Super Bowl you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Mahomes knows that now. And it'll be interesting to see what the Chiefs do. I think you have to bolster up the offensive line. I mean, that should go without any thought. Like I think in the draft, you need to get some tackles, and I would get a guard or 2 just for the future. You have a good center, but like that has been a question mark for the Chiefs for a long time now. Really, their roster is built with Mahomes, who's like the ultimate dealer at quarterback, just throwing it to every single receiver on the roster. And then you have a really good defense. A lot of their money's tied up on the defense, and you have like an average O-line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not going to work like long term, you know. And I think that's what they saw. And
Well, and Andy Reid, his genius systematic aspect, where he knows how to kind of hide his weakness, kind of hide the offensive line by doing sweeps or doing quick passes, or like doing that sort of thing where it'll make the defense a little bit tired and then they won't pass as much. So I think that kind of got, because of Andy Reid's play calling, the bad offensive how bad the offensive line never really got up to the light until the Super Bowl, which is
Right.
kind of crazy.
And the way that like the game is called has changed. Like if
Mhm.
you're in a game where it's still 7-0 in the second quarter, like you're probably running the ball more, running more
Mhm.
RPOs, doing like different things that you see from the Chiefs, doing those sweeps that you mentioned. But like when you're already down 24-0, like you're trying to pass the ball down the field.
Yeah.
And for Mahomes, that worked against him because he was just kind of digging his grave deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
But
So, yeah.
I think they'll be back.
Yeah.
I don't know about next year, but I think within a reasonable amount of time, I think the Chiefs will be back in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to be the next couple years, though. I think there's just too much power in the other teams. And with their receivers dwindling, and then Spags is probably going to get called up to a head coach next year. So I think,
if Spags leaves, that's a huge dent.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big thing for their team.
exactly. So I don't know.
But everyone's got the blueprint now. Everyone was watching that game.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like you know the Bills, you know the Ravens, and hell, even the Broncos. Like, you want to get to Mahomes, you're gonna have to go get like Miles Garrett's on the chopping block right now.
Mm-hmm.
That phone is probably ringing off the chain.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and that's the thing. Like you were talking about them getting, Mahomes going back to the Super Bowl. They have to win their division first. Their division's looking really strong. I mean,
Yeah,
two other people from their division got to the playoffs, and they're only getting better because most of their rosters are a lot younger. Like the Broncos are very, very young. The Chargers are pretty young. I wouldn't say very, very young, but so they actually have some competition within the division. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, Tom Brady never really had that much competition within his division at all. So I feel like that's going to be a huge difference too.
yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see those big teams in the AFC, like the Bills and the Ravens, like how they move forward. Because I feel like they're gonna Steelers. Yeah, Steelers. They already have their pass rushers, but like the Bills, they probably need like a bona fide pass rusher.
Yeah.
So the Ravens have a good D line, but they probably need like a bona fide pass rusher, someone that's going to get 10 plus sacks a year.
Yeah.
So-
Definitely.
I think they're going to try to make moves to make that happen for sure. And I saw a report today from some Washington source. I don't know how credible they are, but I saw that they said they're going to heavily pursue a lot of defensive players and try to go all in for the Super Bowl. So
The Bills?
we will Washington.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could
So
definitely see that.
we will see how that goes. I feel like that's where what's his face is going to end up.
Myles Garrett.
Miles Garrett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said that, remember? I was like,
Mhm.
I can definitely see him going to Washington because they have the most cap plus out of the division, so the Cleveland's willing to like actually
Makes a
trade
lot
with
of
them
sense.
and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think I could see the Commanders and the Bills really focusing on the defensive side. That's at least that's what they need to do. So, and honestly, in the Lions, but
Lions need to have like a deeper roster
yeah, that's true.
because it kind of showed up when everyone got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
which I think they got really unlucky with the amount of injuries they had. But
Yeah.
let's talk about some of the other stories around the league today. So possible retirements. There's some uncertainty among a few players. The two biggest names right now, Aaron Rodgers and Travis Kelce. Aaron Rodgers, he flew to the Jets this past weekend had a meeting with them. There's a lot of rumors coming about that meeting that he had with the Jets, but it's been reported that the Jets told Aaron Rodgers at the conclusion of the meeting they were going to move on without him next year, most likely. And there is a lot of people saying, you know, Aaron Rodgers is either going to retire or he's going to look at another team. The two teams that are the betting favorites right now to land Rodgers, number one, Pittsburgh Steelers. And number two, the Las Vegas Raiders. And then I think number three is like the Niners, but I don't know how that would work.
We're the betting favorites.
You guys are the betting favorites, yes.
I was wondering because I saw on social media there was a billboard that said "Do not pick up Aaron Rodgers." Oh man.
What do you think about that? Would you think that'd be a good fit?
Absolutely not.
I don't think so either.
Absolutely not. Number one, our offensive line is ass. So it's not. We need a semi-mobile quarterback. Number two, I don't know. We need a lot of help. We need more receivers. But if Aaron Rodgers couldn't even do something with Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, what the hell is he gonna do with George Pickens
and Calvin Austin
and you forgot Mike Williams too.
Mike Williams?
Yeah, don't forget him. It's like, what the fuck is he gonna do for the Steelers? Oh my god, that would be bad. And then when you get rid of Justin Fields.
But like inside the locker room, Tomlin's not going to put up with any of that bullshit that Rodgers brings. Like that, they would be feuding all year, I think.
I don't think so. I think that when Aaron Rodgers actually respects somebody, he doesn't really. I don't want to call it misbehaving, but I don't think he speaks out as much when he actually shows respect. Like he actually.
If he doesn't, what if he were to go to the Steelers and he doesn't go to the mandatory minicamp?
Yeah,
like he did with the Jets. Don't you think that would kind of piss Tomlin off?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and have Rodgers say some stupid shit like, "Oh, I was just in the darkness. You got to FaceTime me if you want me there."
I feel like it would be a different vibe though. I think if he doesn't retire and he goes to another team, it's going to be a completely different vibe. I think it's going to be like, all right, I need to prove them out. I need to prove them wrong. There's going to be so many haters, so many people doubting him and all this other type of stuff that it's really going to fuel him. I feel like in the Jets, they kind of already gave him the crown. And so he didn't really have to shut the doubters up. It was more the Achilles aspect that people were kind of doubting on. But I don't think when he went to the Jets, people were doubting him as much. If he goes to the Raiders, he's going to be like, all right, people are not going to think that I'm going to succeed. So I'm going to try anything I can to succeed. Thus going to the mandatory minicamp, thus going to practices, thus doing this, thus doing that. Honestly, not even me being a Steeler fan or whatnot, the Raiders makes the most sense. The Jets, personally, I think the Jets make the most sense. But if the Jets want to do Jets things and let go of him, I think the Raiders are 100% the best option.
I think the Raiders are probably the most likely if he ends up playing next year. I think he's going to retire, though.
Really?
I think he's done. I fear for Rodgers, and I wonder if he thinks about this. You go to a team like the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
That offensive line is not good. They were one of the worst in the league this last year. Yeah. So you're going from the Jets, who had a bad offensive line, to an even worse offensive line for the Raiders. And sure, you have a new coaching staff that's going to try to revamp it, but you're probably going to be playing with a bunch of rookies. And to me, I think that's too big of a risk. I hate to say this, but I think if Rodgers were to play next year, I think he's going to have another significant injury, and then we'll see him go out that way. And I don't want to see him go out like that, but that's what I fear for him the most. I think it's too risky to go to a new team. I think
Yeah.
you should just retire.
But I feel like you know Rodgers the most. Do you think that he's gonna go out having a season like he did last year? Or I guess he
mean-
got forced to do it, so it's a little different. But like,
It's
just
just
can't
like
see
the
it.
half of his brain that's talking one day. If he's half his brain is going to tell him I'm okay with my career, like no one can tell me anything. I'm at peace. I won a Super Bowl.
Mhm.
The other half of his brain is telling him like, are you really okay with your career? Do you really think you're comparable to Brady or Peyton Manning or any of these top 5 guys all time? And
wait,
he's not.
Would you put? I was gonna say, would you put him in the top 5? I would
No.
not, 100%.
I would not. I put him at 10 when we did that list last week. I put him at 10,
oh, true.
10 all time.
Mm.
So I have respect for him, but to me, I think it's too risky to go somewhere else. The Raiders makes the most sense, but I think if he plays next year, he gets hurt again,
Yeah.
some sort of like knee injury or something, and then he's done.
Now, why don't
Don't you think the Jets want him back?
It's because all the bullshit he does, all the bullshit he brings. There's a report. I don't know how true this is, but there was a report in that meeting. The Jets told him, if you come back here next year, we don't want to see you one time on the Pat McAfee show. And that was like a straw in the meeting against them.
But he doesn't say anything on the Pat McAfee show. Like,
Well, he bashed the owner, Woody Johnson. He did that during this year. He with the Packers, he said, "FaceTime me. I don't answer phone calls." He said a lot on the Pat McAfee show against the teams he's played for.
interesting.
And it's not like the players. He usually doesn't go after his teammates, but he usually goes after management
Leadership, yeah.
on the show. And like, I can understand the Jets being like, we don't want to see you on that show again. We think it's a distraction. Stop. And if he's like, no, well, then get out.
Yeah. That's interesting. And he probably would say no, too.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. If that actually happened, I'm sure he did.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah. Travis Kelce, he is reportedly undecided about returning to the NFL next year. Do you think he retires
No,
after the year that the
Absolutely
Chiefs
not.
just had?
absolutely not. Absolutely
I don't
not.
think so either.
But I think once he retires, that's going to be when the Chiefs' kingdom comes down. I think when he retires and when Spags leave.
I think when Reed's gone, that'll be it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's going to be like the nail in the coffin. But I don't think they're
Yeah.
going to be the same old Chiefs like they were
I do think
without
Spags-
in.
I do
And
think Spags will
Kelsey.
that will leave a lasting effect.
Yeah.
That defense will take a while to get back to being
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they're gonna be like complete, bottom of the barrel, suck ass team type of thing. But I think without Spags and Kelsey they're gonna feel it. They're definitely gonna feel it, and it's gonna take them a little bit to recover. But yeah, I don't know.
I kind of feel like Travis is going to go out a lot like Jason did, where the last like 3 years of his career he was undecided about coming back, and then he always came back.
Yeah, definitely. There's no way that he comes back and he retires after a Super Bowl loss.
Yeah, I don't
Absolutely
see him
no way.
retiring after how that season ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Now, do you think that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are gonna break up? I'm just joking.
Yeah, I mean, I think
There's
they are going to get married.
I
don't
hope
know
so,
when,
man.
but-
They honestly, I'm so happy for them.
Yeah.
And the internet's just such a bully, and they just completely, make a small little thing out of nothing. I saw this one report where it was like Taylor Swift wore red shoes, so then they correlated that with Dorothy, like, oh, it's not Kansas anymore or something like that. I'm like, where do you guys get this shit? Like, talk about reaching. That should have been my rage cage. Or
Yeah.
her leaving for Cooper DeJean or something, like.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know. Some people were pretty surprised that they booed her.
Yeah, which is so unfair. It's so unfair.
But to me, like, you listen to that game after the first two scores for Philly, the whole crowd was singing the Philly Fight song.
Yeah.
So pretty obvious there was a bigger Philadelphia crowd there from the start.
But they don't need to boo Taylor Swift. Like, Taylor Swift has done nothing. Has done
Philly
nothing.
fans.
Huh?
You know Philly fans.
I know. Fuck ass people. But,
Win or lose, they're burning the city down.
yeah, but I'm just saying in general, people, like, just NFL fans in general, like,
Yeah.
they happen to hate Taylor Swift. It's like Taylor Swift did nothing. Like, literally, people aren't understanding that Taylor Swift has done nothing wrong. But it's the NFL trying to make money and trying to get younger viewership and exploiting all Taylor Swift. Like, even Travis Kelce was like, I wish they would just stop showing her. She doesn't want to be seen at games 7, 8, 9 times a game.
Yeah.
It's,
They do it. They
it sucks
overdo
for
it.
her. That's honestly, out of all the Chiefs team, I feel bad for her the most.
And she probably makes more money than
Oh, I mean,
damn near all the roster.
Yeah,
So.
true.
But yeah, it's I wouldn't have booed her
Yeah,
if I was there.
it's fair. And then it's just crazy. Philly fans.
Yeah. Win or lose, you destroy the city.
Yeah, seriously.
So I don't understand them. I don't understand the Philly fans.
So stupid. What's weird
going-
is that why are there so many celebrities randomly becoming Philly fans now?
I saw that Anne Hathaway was there at the
Yeah.
game wearing
Come
the
on,
Eagles stuff.
man.
And just a couple years ago, she was on the Tonight Show talking about the Giants and how that was her favorite team.
Yeah. I saw that too. And
But I mean, I guess if you were a Giants fan, they've been banned
I
for so
would not
long.
be, yeah.
I don't know how you go to the Eagles, but if you're not really like a fan, like if you don't really watch the games, you
Mhm.
don't know anything about the divisions, like
Yeah.
You just
And
pick-
maybe her husband likes Philly or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really know. the
I
whole
know
story.
what's his face, Bradley Cooper.
Cooper.
He's always been an Eagles fan.
Yeah, 100%. Or like Kevin Hart. Even though Kevin Hart went to the Rams training camp.
I was like, that's kind of interesting. But I guess they're both in LA or something like that. But like,
You know who I appreciate the most? Jason Kelsey's
Wife,
wife,
Kylie.
Kylie,
Mm-hmm.
because the way she thinks about sports, I feel like is how the everyday like hard fan of the NFL thinks.
Honestly, she's one of the best. That couple, her
She's
and
got a great
Jason,
podcast.
her and Jason are just unbelievable people. Honestly, from the bottom
Yeah, I
of my
love
heart, like they're just so real. And number one, number two, they don't care what anybody says. Number three, like they're just down to earth. Like you can actually relate to them, which is so cool. Seeing as like a celebrity and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the other big news: Debo Samuel. He requested a trade. I think it was the day of the Super Bowl. I don't remember what exactly day it was, if it was Saturday or Sunday, but it was right around the Super Bowl. News came out that Debo Samuel requested a trade. What do you think comes to the table for Debo, or I guess for the Niners?
I'm thinking like a 5th and a 6th, maybe a 4th round pick, something like that. He hasn't been producing at all for the past couple of years, and even last year he is the number 1 receiver, and he still was ass. And so when you look at trades like what the Raiders gave up Devontae Adams, he's nowhere close to Devontae Adams. What was Cooper? I probably would put him in the same category as Cooper, Amari Cooper, maybe a little bit below, but I feel like that's the most equal trade item,
Yeah.
something like that.
I would have a lot of concerns if my team, say the Broncos, go out and trade for Deebo Samuel.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I'd be very concerned because I don't think he is worth the hype. He hasn't had a 1,000-yard season since 2021. 365 yards rushing that year. That's the highest amount of rushing yards he's ever had. So really, like, you think about that year, you're like, ooh, he must have had 600 yards. He only had under 400 yards. And that was his only 1,000-yard receiving year in the past 3 or 4 years. So, like, he's now 4 years older since that season. That was his best season in a while. I don't like this. I don't know why he would request a trade.
Yeah.
Like, the Niners you have one bad year, but, like, you're in every single game. Even in this year that was a bad year for the Niners, they were competing in every single game. And the years before that, you guys were in the Super Bowl twice. Like, this is a good team, and you want to leave because you have one bad season?
Plus, he's essentially, relatively, like, realistically, he's a wide receiver 1 on that team. He goes to any other team, maybe the Raiders. That's one team that I was really thinking of where he can go. But I didn't even think about the Steelers trading for him because that is also a possibility, and I can definitely see that happening, unfortunately. But
I could see the Broncos doing it too. I hope they don't. But if Sean Payton wanted to use him as like a Taysom Hill,
he's not big enough for
And,
that,
like,
though.
and like we don't really have a running back, we're letting
Yeah.
Javonte Williams walk. So, like, I just hope. I would hope if they were to trade for him, they would also draft a running back, because I don't think you can put Deebo as your running back 1. That's the problem with Deebo is, like, to me, he's a B- receiver, and he's probably a C+ running back.
A C+? Nah. I would put him at
365
D.
yards
I would
was his
put him
best year.
way lowest,
Oh, okay.
lower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
You can't be a
he's
running
not-
back. Like, he's a receiver that occasionally goes to running back, but
Yeah.
you can't put him at RB1.
No. And I really fear for any team that goes for him. I feel like wherever he goes, we will never hear from him again.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
I really think that I can definitely see the Raiders doing it. I can
That'd be
definitely, but I can also see the Steelers doing it too. So, I don't know.
That'd be so bad.
I know. Oh, the Steelers get him, and then Cooper Kupp's just chilling there, and you're just like,
I wouldn't
Wow.
trade anything for Deebo. Like,
no, maybe a 7th rounder.
exactly. And, like, the Niners are going to be like, we'll just cut him.
Yeah, honestly. What's crazy is why are you requesting a trade? I think that is the main question. It's like, why would you be requesting a trade? There has to be
I
something
wonder if-
interior that is going on that.
I wonder if it's like because they gave Ayuk that huge contract and Juwan Jennings was having a better year than him, that maybe he was like, all right, you guys are moving on without me.
Yeah, I guess.
But
But I would ride
I
that
don't
train
know.
till the wheels fall off. I mean, looking at the alternatives, like,
Yeah.
you always think that the grass is greener, but I don't know. No, I don't think that the grass can be that much greener than
Oh,
the
it
Niners right
definitely
now.
won't
You
be
know what I
greener.
mean?
Like if I'm the Niners, I wouldn't care who I'm trading. I would like if the Jaguars came to me and were like, "We'll trade for him." I'd be like, "Sure."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think it's a bad move by Debo because I've been saying you should trade Debo. I've
Mm-hmm.
been saying that for a couple years. Now that he's requested a trade, I think you have to move him because you
Mhm.
have Purdy's contract on the horizon. You're going to want to free up as much cap as you can. And Trent Williams, I think you have to pay this year too.
Yeah.
So, like, I think you have to move him now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty stupid by Debo.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty dumb decision, in my opinion.
Yeah. 100%.
Some of the last news of the day, Kellen Moore, he was hired in New Orleans. I don't know if this actually came out today, but there was a report that Brandon Staley is going to come and run the defense for the Saints. So I don't know how I feel about that. But what do you think about this hire?
I don't think it's a good hire. Honestly, the fact that Staggs wasn't even offered a head coaching
Yeah, it makes no sense.
makes no sense. Arthur Smith was doing interviews and Spags wasn't. Like,
Makes no sense at all.
or what's his name? Oh my God, he just said his name. The Eagles defensive coordinator.
Oh, Vic Fangio.
Yeah, him
He'll
too.
get a. He should have been in some head coaching circles this year, but I think next year or the year after he'll be back as a head coach somewhere.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't think this makes or breaks the team at all. So, it's just going to be a 2-year window and then he's out anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Recycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I like this hire with Kellen Moore. I don't know if he's ready.
Yeah.
I worry about that. He hasn't been an offensive coordinator for very long, really. I don't know what the exact number is, but I don't think he's been an offensive coordinator for over 8 years. I think it's been less than that. So
Mhm.
I don't think it's a great move for the Saints. They're just like they're in hell, the Saints, because like you're over the cap space, you're in cap hell. You have Derek Carr, who I like, and I think he could be good, but he's kind of showing now that like he can't stay healthy for a full season.
Yeah.
All the guys that you've had from your past rosters that have been good rosters are now like older. Demario Davis is older. Tyrann Mathieu older. A lot of the guys on the O-line are older. The edge rusher, Jordan.
The one that just got Walter Payton the Man of the Year. Cam
Yeah,
Jordan?
what's his name? Cam Jordan. He's older. Like I still think some of those guys can play, but like
Yeah.
with the where you're at in the cap space right now, it's not the best situation to have a bunch of old guys on your roster too.
Mhm. And especially because he came from an offense that had so many weapons. So you go from an offense that has so many weapons to 0 weapons. Like, it's insane.
You got Alvin Kamara, maybe.
I guess 1 weapon.
Yeah.
I mean,
Olave probably is. I don't know what he's gonna do,
yeah.
but he was considering retirement. So
Wow. Oh, because he had a bad concussion, huh?
yeah, he's had like 7 concussions in his lifetime or something like that.
My God.
So another hire, Ken Dorsey, offense coordinator from the Browns. Just a little stat: they were ranked 28th in offense last year. The Cowboys hired him as their offensive coordinator. So, what are your thoughts on these Cowboy moves? You had Schottenheimer hired as the head coach, and now you have Ken Dorsey coming in to run the offense.
Man, oh man, oh man. I feel so bad for the Cowboy fans
I don't.
because they talk so much shit and I think this is gonna be the first year where they're gonna be like, all right, we are not going all the way. Like this is
Oh,
not
yeah,
our
I mean-
year. You know what I mean? Like this
If
is
they say they're going all the way this year, like
it's crazy. But every year they're like, this is the Cowboys year. This is the Cowboys year. This is the Cowboys year. Yeah,
you can't have any hope if you're a Cowboy fan.
none, zero. Especially when you have the Philly and the Commanders in your division.
Yeah.
Like there's absolutely no way. So, yeah, I mean, this is just a typical Jerry Jones one and done type of deal.
I think they're tanking.
I could see that.
I think that's what's going on here. Like, unless Jerry Jones has completely lost his mind, which is possible. um, I can't see a team making these kind of moves. Schottenheimer, who's never been a head coach, didn't even run plays for you last year.
Mm-hmm.
Now the head coach, and Ken Dorsey coming from the 28th ranked offense in the league as your offensive coordinator. To me, this screams we are tanking for Manning. I think that's who they want.
I can see that. And you know what I can see doing too with Jerry Jones? I feel like Jerry Jones just wants puppets.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's so many different coordinators out there that are like, listen, my team, I brought my team to the Super Bowl. I have Super Bowl rings with my team. Like, I kind of know what I'm doing. And that doesn't sit well with Jerry. And so I think that he's trying to find very low self-esteem coaches that, like, are grateful to be there and are trying to absorb as much power as possible with Jerry Jones. And I just, yeah.
They're screwed, man.
Yeah, it's bad.
This you're gonna miss Mike McCarthy, Cowboy fans. You're gonna miss him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fearful for the Cowboys next year. They might be like a 4-5 win team. They could be one of the worst teams in the league next year.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
It doesn't matter that you have Dak and CD and Micah Parsons. Like, if you have coaches that don't know what the hell they're doing,
Yeah.
like,
Exactly. And plus, like, they all three of them played this year and their ass with a coach that
Yeah.
they've seen for 5 years. Now you expect them to learn a whole different new system and still do good. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. But you think that they're trying to get for Manning? You think that that's who they're going to try to draft?
next year.
Next year, yeah. But then they have Dak. So what, they're going to get rid of Dak?
Yeah.
But didn't he just sign an extent, like a... I mean, I guess
Yeah,
it
he
doesn't
did.
matter any, like, nowadays, but...
He did, but I don't know. I mean, to me, you've seen with Dak, he is a get into the playoffs and get blown out and then leave the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Jerry is. I don't know what Jerry's thinking, but I feel like
But is it Dak or is it McCarthy?
getting blown out.
Yeah, like, do you think... I don't think that a lot of the games that he lost was because of Dak.
Well,
Like, I think that
Mc-
some of the
I
blame
d-
has to go on McCarthy as well.
yeah, I don't think McCarthy's the best coach, but the guy got you 11 win seasons multiple times. As a head coach, he has been like a 10 win guy every year that he's coached.
Yeah. No, I get that, but I'm saying, like, I don't think that... I mean, I guess Dak should be labeled that, but, like, I'm just saying, like, a lot of it has to do with McCarthy. I bet if, like, Dak went to any other team, he would still succeed. Almost
Yeah.
any other team, I should say.
I mean, Dak's like he's
He's an average player. I see what you're saying.
he's an above average quarterback.
Yeah, top 20.
Yeah, he's not a game changer. He's
No.
like Kirk Cousins.
Mm.
Like, that's kind of who he is. Like,
Yeah.
they aren't guys that move the needle by any means. They might have a big year statistically. You get them into the playoffs, lights are too bright. They always leave pretty early.
Which is crazy because in Dallas, the lights are always bright. Like
Yeah.
everybody's watching you guys. So the fact that like there's a stage that, I don't know, it's wild.
But that is it from us for today. This is going to be our last show for a while. Next time we have a show, I may have a baby that I am taking care of. And Darren will be much farther into his fatherhood, and Sam, his wife, will be much farther into her motherhood. It will be a whole different show.
Nimmer will still not be a father. Hopefully, knock on wood.
I was trying to figure out what to say for you.
I know you were. That's why
I was like,
could
Nimmer's
roast
gonna be in a
myself.
different room, probably.
Yeah, seriously, I'll just be a loser over here in the corner. It's good.
But we'll be geared up for our draft, our fantasy football draft. We'll have a bunch of fantasy football talk. But this is it for a while. And I know we're kind of gaining a little steam on TikTok, but I don't think we gain any steam on TikTok or anything by talking about, random bullshit for the rest of the off season. I don't want to get in a situation where like there's no NFL news and you and I are talking about God knows what, like
No, I
the
agree.
weather.
I agree. It's about quality, not quantity type of thing.
Yeah. So we'll be back later, probably in like the July time frame. Our baby will be here in June. Felt the baby kick again. That has been such a crazy experience.
I bet.
I feel like his legs are getting pretty strong. The second one that I felt like a huge kick.
Oh snap! That's really cool.
It's crazy. It's a crazy experience. I see what Darian's going through, and I'm taking notes. I saw what Jack went through. I took notes from him. I just want to figure out how I can get as much sleep as I can, but I'm starting to realize that's not really a possibility.
Yeah.
So,
What's funny is that obviously I'm not a parent, or I don't know anything about parentinghood, but I've heard that it's it in the beginning you don't sleep because of the crying, and then towards the end you don't sleep because of the worrying. Or I don't want to say till the end, but like I'm saying like till they're 18 and they're still in your house. Or whatnot,
yeah.
So it's just like it's a different type of feeling from when they're 18 until when they're a baby they're like, oh, just please stop crying, and then they're 18, you're like, can you please, you're crying and you're like, can you please just stay. It's a wild feeling. But what's cool about having a baby now is that you have so many people to ask. Like through half of the league has babies now. So if you ever have a question, you could just pick up the phone. If somebody doesn't pick up, then you bloop, 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 pick somebody else up. Call somebody else. So that'd be that's really cool.
And I'm so far in the time zone that like if the baby's up at 3 a.m., I'll just give someone a call at midnight and maybe they're still up.
Yeah, exactly. Ricky will be up, so you know what I mean. Like
true.
You have different people that depending on what time of the day it is. If it's 4 in the morning, well, I guess if it's like 7 in the morning and 4 in the morning here, Jack's gonna be up. Like
Kaysen's up too. I think he works the night shift.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a couple
Exactly.
people.
So
But
that's cool.
We'll be back. We will have a bunch of fantasy football content for you coming up for this next year. Join us. We will have probably the same kind of machine you saw last year, where we'll have a bunch of hype about the fantasy football draft. We'll all have the draft thinking we're geniuses. One of us will have a meltdown and have one of the worst seasons on this show. And maybe one of us will end up in 10th place again on this show,
That'd
and
be
you get to hear it all from our league mates. So, and maybe we'll do another pick'em league, but we have to pay the winner of this last year
snap.
first.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah. I'll Venmo her.
But that is it from us. We will see you guys a little later. Thank you guys for watching with us all season. It has been a great season. It sucks that football's over. Nimmer, do you have anything before we take off?
Yeah, no, just enjoy the off season. I know it's weird not having football, but this is the time to kind of be with your family. Make sure you enjoy the moments that you have with your family and friends, because everybody they're not going to be there for the rest of your life, and just keep grinding. That's all I gotta say.
Definitely. Let me know what sports are out there if you're watching anything else, because I love football, and now that it's over, I mean, I have a little interest in baseball, but that only
Hockey.
lasts for a couple of games.
I'm watching hockey.
Yeah, hockey. Yeah, I could get into hockey. I try to, and I never can. But college basketball, I like college basketball. But it's tough. It's tough times now that football's over.
Yeah.
But anyways, that is it from us. Thank you guys for watching all season. It was a pleasure.